Welcome to VirajeTech online training platform for mastering cloud technologies. Are you ready to take your career to the next level? Imagine landing your dream job in the USA, UK, Canada, Australia, India, Singapore, or Dubai.
We've already helped over 9,000 candidates secure high-paying positions in CMM Level 5 MNCs, with salaries ranging from 100,000 to 350,000 USD. This is your chance to fast-track your career. Are you ready to grab it? Don't wait. Apply now and step into a brighter future. Today, let's explore Microsoft Azure, one of the world's leading cloud platforms. What is Azure? Azure is Microsoft's cloud computing platform that provides services like computing, storage, databases, and artificial intelligence. It helps businesses scale efficiently without managing physical infrastructure. Why is Azure important? It's highly scalable, cost-effective, and secure. Azure has data centers worldwide, ensuring businesses stay connected globally. Plus, it supports AI, DevOps, and big data solutions. Learning Azure can open doors to high-paying careers. You can become a cloud engineer, solutions architect, DevOps specialist, security expert, or data engineer. The demand for cloud professionals is growing every day. Azure certification path. Want to start your Azure career? Begin with AZ 900 for fundamentals, then move to associate and expert certificators, or AZ 305 for architects. Azure skills are in demand, and this is your chance to grow. Stay tuned for more tutorials. Like, share, and subscribe to VirajeTech for expert cloud training. Thank you. Today, we are going to learn about the Azure Cloud Virtual Network.
So this is our Azure Cloud Console. So guys, what you need to do? You need to create a Azure Cloud Console. You will go and type here Azure Cloud, Azure Portal Login. And click on this. And here you can log in. You can create a Azure Cloud account, give that one Gmail ID, create as a Microsoft ID and log in. It will ask your credit card. 15,000 rupees you will get the free. Okay. For 1 month usage, you can use your free account. Once your account is created, you will be logged in here. This is the Azure Cloud Console. So today we are going to start with the scratch. Okay, so let's understand. This is our Azure Cloud Console. See, in my class, everything will be the hands-on and use case study architecture based. Okay, so that directly you can work in the company in the live project. This is your Azure Cloud Console. And this is like your internet users. Internet users, we can say 0.0.0.0/0. So this is the IP address range for internet users. Okay, and this is your Azure Cloud Console. In this Azure Cloud Console, basically, what is the major pillar? Inside this Azure, Microsoft is a vendor. Okay, Microsoft is a cloud provider. By using the Azure Cloud Console, you are able to log in. Inside that, you have a major pillar that is the like a VNet, virtual network. Okay, VNet is a virtual network. So we can say it is your virtual private cloud. Inside that, you will create your project infrastructure. Each project, what are the infrastructure you are going to create, that will be inside the virtual network. Inside the virtual network, you have a subnet. Okay. Subnet is a subset of the virtual network. So we can say this is the subnet. In one virtual network, multiple subnet can be happen. Virtual network, there we can allocate the devices. Suppose that 10.0.0, first two digit define the network, last two digit define the host. Okay. And then you provide like 16. It means 2 to the power 16 minus 1. That is the formula. So 65,536 IP address. That you no need to memorize anything. It will come in the Azure console. Just I am telling for your information purpose. So these many devices can connect in the virtual network. Then subnet is a subset of the virtual network. So first two digit will be the same. 10.0. First digit will be the same. Then later we can change. Okay. /24. So it means 256 IP address. So these many devices you can connect with this. Okay. That is your subnet. Inside the subnet, you are creating your services like virtual machine, database, okay, Azure factory, anything which you want to create, that inside the virtual network you are creating. Okay. That is like a, so whenever any project which you have, first you should create a virtual network. So we can say this is the VM. Okay. And anything like database, storage, everything will come inside the VNet. TV, okay, your factory, anything that will come inside the Azure virtual network. Okay, clear? So the thing is, then here, like internet users will access this network in the Azure console. So now we are going to create how to create the virtual network. Okay. So this is your Azure console. Okay. So you can check first what is your billing. So here, if you have the free account, then fine. If you have the paid account, you can monitor your cost management and billing here. Okay. Is there any bill for that? No bill. Fine. Now we are creating the virtual network first. Virtual network is a major player in the Azure cloud. Okay. What is this Azure virtual network is? Whenever you are starting any project, all the infrastructure you will create inside the Azure virtual network. Okay. Azure virtual network, it is your private cloud, we can say. Okay. Entire networking will come inside the Azure virtual network. So any project, any service which you want to create, first you should have your project specific virtual network. We can go click on this create virtual network. Okay. So Azure Virtual Network is the fundamental building block for your private network in the Azure. VNet enables many type of the Azure resources such as VM, security, communicate with the other internet or on-premises network. VNet is similar to the traditional network that you had operate in your own data centers. That's how I explained you. Okay. Subscriptions. So you have a free tier, you can choose the free tier. Then resource group. Resource group, we can say it is a container. So that tomorrow you can identify all the services related to which project containers. So we can go create new. and we can create Azure Data Factory VNet. Okay, create, so that we will use this one. Then virtual network name, we can give Azure Data Factory VNet. Okay, that we gave. So we will use this virtual network. Which location? Based on the location, your charges will be vary. Virtual network and subnet span all ability zones in a region. So use the virtual network peering, okay, for different region purpose. So we are using as if now US East US that we can choose. Go to this next. Now in our virtual network, we need to add on the security so that like it will be the safe and secure. So you can depends on your requirement. You can enable the Bastion. Okay. You can enable the Azure firewall. So later chapters, we will learn all these things or Azure DDoS network. As of now, not required. We can create a simple virtual network. Go to this IP address. So we define the IP address. Now this is the like a default IP address 10.0.0.0.16. So 65,536 IP address. Add subnet. We can add the subnet. So in this subnet is a default name. We can give Azure Data Factory subnet. Then 10.0.0 instead of this. So this is the IP address range. So starting address 10.0.0/24 means 2 to the power 8. So 256 IP address. Okay. Then like rest of the things will be let it be the default add. So Azure subnet we added. Now we can go to this next. Go to this next. And then we can create. So now what will happen? Azure Virtual Network we created. Okay. So this virtual network, it is our private cloud. Whatever the project related component we can use inside this. Okay. So now it is deploying. So this is your virtual network is created. The resource factory. So this is the resource group. This is the DNS servers, address space. We can enable any point of the time security, activity log. It will come here. Access control will come here. Address spaces. This is the address space ranges. So this 2-digit will be changed, rest will same. Subnet. Inside the virtual network, this is the subnet. We can add on the multiple subnet. Then this is the alerts. Any alerts we can add matrices. So matrices will come here. Okay. Now what will happen here? Virtual network is created. You can see this is your virtual network. Inside the virtual network, you have a subnet. Subnet is there. Now you can create anything, your database, your server, your data factory, anything which you can create. So you should know how to create the virtual machine. Okay. So we will go here, VM. After the virtual network, VM, how to create, because every time you are going to use this. Okay. We can go to this home virtual machine. Click on this create Azure virtual machine. Then we can go here subscriptions, pay as you go, resource group. Now we need to use the same resource group, Azure Data Factory. Okay. Then inside the virtual network, which machine you are going to create. Okay. So one VM you are going to create, VM1. US East US, ability options, like under which location you are going to create. Let it be ability zones, zone 1. Then security type. Okay. Virtual machines, image. What image? Window. You can create a window machines. Size will be the standard. Then username. We can give here username 1. Then password. We can define the password. Capital A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then public inbound ports. Allow selected ports. RDP 3389. Then we can go to next disk. Disk size. Disk type. Then networking. We define the networking. Virtual network. Subnet. Automatically it's took Azure Data Factory virtual network. Subnet. Public IP address. Then for the window machines, RDP protocol is important, 3389. Okay. Then go to the next management. Let it be the default. Go to the monitoring, diagnostic, enable the manage storage account, advanced. Then go to the tag, review and create. And then create. So what we did, we created one Windows virtual machines. Okay. Microsoft Windows virtual machines we created. Similar way, using the VNet, we can create the database or data factory. So what will happen this virtual network every time we are going to use? Now we are coming to the understood what is this Azure Data Factory. See, in my sessions, we will do the hands-ons. Okay. How we are going to implement in the project. What is this Azure Data Factory? Try to understand. Azure Data Factory is Azure Cloud ETL service. Okay. Azure Data Factory is Azure Cloud ETL service for scale out serverless data integration and data transformations. Basically, Azure Data Factory, what it is doing, suppose that there is some CRM or Salesforce applications are there where the data is available. Okay. And this data we need to send to the some another app. Okay. But we don't want all the raw data directly put it here. We want to transform the data. Okay. only the relevant content we want to send in the relevant format. So what will happen? Data factory will take this data from here like CRM or Salesforce. Okay. And this Azure data factory will take this data and push to the app, how the app is supposed to want. Okay. So Azure data factory is Azure cloud ETL service for scale out serverless data integration and data transformations. It offers a code free UI for intuitive authoring and single pane of glass monitoring and management. We can also lift and shift existing SSIS packages to Azure and run them with full compatibility in Azure Data Factory. SSIS integrations runtime offers a fully managed service, so we don't have worry about the infrastructure management. Okay. So that is the overview of your Azure Data Factory. In short, Azure Data Factory, it is your ETL service which will integrate the data. You can integrate it and you can transform it. That both purpose you can use the Azure Data Factory. Okay. How the factory is supposed to be work. Before that, I'm coming in that. So our machine, VM machine is done. We can go here. This is our virtual machines. So now you can see this virtual machines. This is the virtual machines. Window machines is created. And this is the virtual network. Under the virtual network, this machine is getting created. Now you want to connect this machine. Go to this connect, connect. So now we can go download this RDP file. Click on this connect and we can log in this. Okay. Now you can see the Microsoft Windows-based operating system is ready. Okay. That's how the Azure is like a very scalable, reliable, secure, fast server platform. Okay. So by the Azure cloud, you can create multiple servers. So this is the window machines which you created on the Azure infrastructure. Okay. Any questions here so far? So now we are discussing about the Azure Data Factory. See, in my class, we are going to the everything hands-on, project-based, okay, real time, okay, so that after my training, you can directly crack any interview, any exam, or any project you can able to work. Okay, so that you have a real-time stuff. Everyone has a Azure console. Okay, so now how the data factory is work. So basically, to work with the data factory, we need to understand here. Suppose that this is your, data like CRM application. Here your ADF, and here you want to send the data, transform the data. Okay. So basically it work connect and collect. So enterprise has data of various types that are located in disparate sources, on premises in the cloud, structured, unstructured, semi-structured. Okay. So the data will be here. So from here, our ADF, Azure Data Factory, will collect different types of the data. So first step is building an information production system is to collect all the sources of data and processing, like we can say software as a service model database. It can be the database also, and FTP web services, file server also, anything. Okay. So from the source, it will collect the data. The next step is to move the data as needed to a centralized location for subsequent processing. Without data factory, enterprise must build custom data movement component of right custom services to integrate these data sources and processing. So if data factory is there, then data factory will do connect with the source, get the data. If data factory, if you are not using, then you need to use lot of custom things. It is like a expensive and hard to integrate and maintain subsystems. Earlier, these were the challenges which company are facing in the integrations when the data transferring to one component to another components. So with the data factory, we can use the copy data in a data pipeline to move data from both on-premise and cloud source data stores to a centralized data store for the further analysis. So example, we can collect the data in the Azure data lake and transform the data later using the Azure data lake analytics compute service. We can also collect the data in the Azure blob storage and transform it later, okay, by using the Azure SD Insight cluster. So these are the like some of the interview points, okay, for your understanding purpose. Then transform and enrich. So basically this Azure data factory, it will transform the data and enrich. After data is present in the centralized data store in the cloud, processes and transform the collected data using the ADF mapping data flow. Okay, in the Azure data factory, there is a data flow which will process the data and transform the data. Data flow enables data engineers to build and maintain the data transformations graph that execute on Spark without needing to understand Spark cluster or Spark programming. If we prepare to the code transformations by hand, Azure Data Factory support external activities for executing your transformations on compute service such as SD Insight and Hadoop, Spark and machine learning. It's all about transform and enrichment. Then continuous integration and continuous deployment, CI/CD and publish. Data Factory offers full support for continuous integrations and continuous deployment for your data pipeline using the Azure DevOps and GitHub. This allows you to incrementally develop and deliver your ETL process before publishing the finished product. After that, raw data is refined into the business ready consumable form. So load the data into the Azure data warehouse or Azure SQL database or Cosmo DB, whichever the analytic engine. Okay. And Azure Data Factory. After that, work on that. So basically, in short, from the source, we are collecting the data and then we are transforming the data, and we can create the CI/CD pipeline to perform all these process. Okay. Then monitor after the successful built and deployed. Like we can see the pipeline providing the business value from refined data monitor, the scheduled activity via Azure Monitor API PowerShell, Azure Monitor logs, and health panel on Azure portals. Okay. So now for this pipeline, we should have a data source. So for the data source purpose, we will create the storage. So we will go to this storage account. Okay. And then we can click on this storage account. So let's create the storage account as a source. So today we created the virtual network, virtual machine, now storage. So storage account we can use as our source in the data factory. Create. So we can go create the storage, select here Azure Data Factory. Then instance Azure Data Factory source. Then go to the next networking, enable the public access protection, encryptions, tag, review. Then create. So what is happening? We created one storage. So we can go to this Azure Data Factory source. It is the unique service, Azure Data Factory. Now, once we created the storage, here we can load the data, whatever we want. File, blob, security, okay, queue, table. If you go to this blob service, click on this blob, click on this container. Azure DF container. Then we can select here, create. So Azure container we created. Select this container. In this container, you can upload any of the file. Browse the file. So any file which you can load it here. Suppose that this one I want to load it, upload. So now you can see the file is added. So here you can add the Excel data like bank data dot XLS. Sample. Okay. So you can download whatever like that. Some sample data you can download from Excel. That will be your source. So like now we need to proceed further. Like we should have a console. So like here, what we did, we created the console. Okay. We created the container. Now in the folder, we created some source. Now we will add the data factory. Now we will create the data factory. There we will use the source. So what I want, you should have, everyone has a console and then we will do together. As if now, that's it for the day. Okay. So it is your day one. Always remember, whatever you created, you need to delete it. Okay. So you go the resource, all resources, because in the Azure, everything will be the chargeable. You select all and delete. Okay. Apply force delete, 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 delete. So what we did, we deleted everything. Okay. Because Azure, everything is costly. Select, delete. Then we can go delete. Why I'm deleting? Because it will be the more chargeable if you keep as it is. Refresh, still delete. Delete. So now it's deleted all the resource. So we can go to the resource group. In the resource group also, we should delete this all. Okay. We can go and delete one by one. This is the cleanup activity which we need to perform daily basis.